Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Football Social YouTube channel. I am here with the Sky Blue View. How are you doing, Neil?
Wicked, mate. I'm raring to go. Football's finally started for us as a Coventry City fans. So the 22-23 season's here now, so let's do it. Absolutely. So this is a brand new YouTube channel. We do also have a Twitch channel down in the description below, so go check that out, where we will be doing watch-alongs of Championship games, Premier League games. We've got fans from all across the leagues, so make sure you check that out. But we are here today, of course, me as a Bristol City fan and Neil as a Coventry City fan, to talk about the Championship, the greatest league of them all. Of course, not biased. It's the only reason Bristol City have been there for 7 years. You know, we don't care about that Premier League. Bin that off. Nah, Championship is where it's at. So me and Neil will be going against each other in a battle of predictions. Essentially, we are both going to be giving our predictions of this week's fixtures, the midweek fixtures happening Tuesday and Wednesday. And there's going to be a scoring system, Neil. So essentially, what is going to happen is, if you get the right result, so I'm saying, let's say you say QPR is going to beat Hull. If you get the right result and say, yep, QPR is going to beat Hull, and they do, you would get 1 point. If you say QPR is going to beat Hull 3-0, and they do beat them 3-0, you would then get 3 points for the correct result and the correct score. If you don't get a correct result or a correct score, you get nothing. You know, there's no participation medal here. You get jack. Okay? That works for me, mate. That works for me.
So I thought we could do this, you know, maybe like once a week and sort of have a battle, and then the loser would have some sort of forfeit at the end. I'm sorry, I mean, you would have some sort of forfeit at the end. Mate, if you lose to me, that is embarrassing.
Mate. Hey, look, I don't think I'll have to go to show my face again if I lose to you, Con. So,
yeah, no, absolutely. I did this on my own channel last week, link in the description, and I got 6 points out of 20 games. Oh, not 20 games, 10 games. So, yeah, it's not going to be great, but there we go. Anyway, would you like to get us started, or would you like me to get us started?
Yeah, do you know what? Let's do this. Let's start with the Tuesday night games. Let's start at St Andrews, home away from home for me. Birmingham host Norwich. I'll get the joke in before anyone else does in the comments down below. I know what they're like. Birmingham versus Norwich. Now, I think Birmingham had a good start to the season considering where most people had. I know on my channel, I had them finishing the relegation zone this season, but Johnny has gone playing some good stuff. But Norwich are just, I think they're going to run away and get automatic promotion. I can see this being a comfortable away 2-0 win to Norwich.
Ooh, interesting you say that. Yeah, so just to build on your point, so Norwich themselves obviously started the season very, very slowly, but have well and truly picked up their form now. 3 wins on the bounce. For Birmingham, they haven't actually won a game since the start of the month, I think, or like it was the win against Huddersfield. I can't quite remember when that was. But Josh Sargent is looking dangerous now. He's started adding goals to his game. And yeah, funnily enough, here on my notes, I have a comfortable 2-0 win minimum for me, if not more. So I've also gone 2-0. That if we match every single scoreline, then this is going to be a boring video. But I don't think we will. I
can't see that happening. Right, let's go Turf Moor. Burnley versus Millwall. Vincent Kompany's Burnley, I think they're being dubbed by the press at the minute. Who were coming off the back of an absolute thrashing of Wigan, 5-1 at the weekend. And I think they're going to carry that momentum. Millwall, a great side, don't get me wrong. They're hard to beat. But I think Burnley are going to be too strong. And I'm going to go for a home 3-1 win.
Oh, interesting. So, yeah, I haven't gone for that same score. So we have deviated. Yeah, so you said about their sort of battering of Wigan. But if you watch the game, it is actually a lot closer than the scoreline would suggest. With the 5-1, Wigan fans understandably very disappointed at how comfortable it looked. Josh Brownhill has been unreal so far this season for them, but they do focus a lot on that midfield for their goals. They don't get a lot of goals out of those strikers. I've gone 1-1. I think Burnley will struggle to break Millwall down. they'll grab a goal, but Millwall themselves, perhaps sort of against the run of play, might be able to grab one. And I've even said here, I've put Brownhill and Honeyman getting a goal for either side. So I've even put goal scorers. Ooh. If that happens, by the way, I'm a genius. Mate, I don't give predictions. I give spoilers. Go to your bookies and put a tenner on that. Don't actually, because you'll just be losing a tenner.
Let's call it now. This is the first in the series. If Con gets that right, it's the last in the series.
Oh.
Moving across the border, Cardiff versus Luton. Two sides that have had very different starts to the season. Luton throwing away the lead at Sheffield United, home to Sheffield United the other night. Nathan Jones not happy at all with some of the refereeing decisions. Luton seem to do all right in Wales though. They've got a great record. Last time there they beat Swansea a week or so ago. Cardiff started better than a lot of people thought. A lot of new signings. Everyone wondered how they'd gel, and they seem to be doing okay. But I can't see anything past a draw in this one. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Okay, yeah, I've gone the same. I've gone a draw. I've gone a 0-0 though. Just lack of goals for either team. Luton's only scored 4, Cardiff 3. I think both are quite strong defensively, but they run out of ideas quickly up top. They're fairly impotent. Though last week, Colton Morris and the right back, James Bury, were quality against Sheffield United. So if they pull out that form again, I could see them easily grabbing the win. I just think away from home against Cardiff is a different beast to, it's harder to get your tails up compared to being at home against Sheffield United. So I've gone for the 0-0.
No, understandable. Now let's head down to the capital. Let's head down to London, Loftus Road for QPR versus Hull, the game you used as your example. And a game that genuinely this could be a toss of a coin. You've got QPR, who look like Jekyll and Hyde this season, who one game looked phenomenal and the next game look like they don't even know each other in terms of the players on the pitch. They've got some great players in Elias Chair, Dieng in goal, Willock. They've got some great creative players. They look really good up at Sunderland as well. Borough at home. There's been some great performances up against Hull, a side who I watched beat my Coventry on Saturday. With your man getting a hat-trick from a combined distance of 5.2 yards, I think it was. Less said about that, about a better vlog.
Not a sign of great defending from the opposing team, that is.
Do you know what, Con? It was. I felt embarrassed for them. And look, the one thing I've got to say about Oscar, you might have got the goals. He was in the right position, And Hull's a hard place to go. You boys found that out at first game of the season. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. That they've recruited really well. Their fans were brilliant. Compared to I was at the game last year between Coventry and Hull, and their fans were poor. They turned on the manager quite easily. They changed the layout a little bit where they position the away fans, and I think that may have something to do with it. It was a good atmosphere on Saturday, and they played some good stuff in times. Looked shaky defensively, but we weren't great, and we still scored 2 and could have had a couple more. So in that respect, I think this could be a quite wide open end-to-end game, and I am gonna go for a home win, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 2-1 home win.
Okay, yeah. No, I agree with everything you've said. Hull, of course, have started the season. I predicted them to really struggle this year. I thought losing the likes of Honeyman and Lewis Potter would have been a real miss. But they've recruited, as you say, they've recruited really, really well. I think QPR as well, like you say, Elias Chair, Chris Willock started the season very, very well. I've gone for a 2-2 draw. I think Estupinian will probably get a goal or two. He looks unbelievable at the moment. I know he obviously got the hat-trick from 5.2 yards against you, but just some of the goals in the other fixtures, he looks a really, really impressive player. I don't think that they'll have enough to get past QPR, and I think QPR are strong enough to hold their own though, so I'm going for that 2-2.
I can easily see that happening as well, mate. I think that could be the game of the night, in all honesty. going up to Bramall Lane, where the surprise leaders, Reading, travel to Sheffield United. I'll tell you what, in Berkshire, they must think the table's upside down with Reading being top of the league. Because I think everyone had them to go straight back down.
Yeah.
Paul Ince's works with miracles. He's got Lucas Jow firing, which I think is key for them. But where they struggled last season, he was injured for a lot of it. So it's really key they keep him fit. And they're going to a Sheffield United side where Ollie McBurney scored for the first time in 42 games, I think it was.
Yeah, like 18 months, wasn't it? Wasn't it something crazy? Yeah.
I know it was Leicester in the Premier League, so you're going over a full season since he last scored. So they should have a bit of confidence in this game. Bramall Lane's always a hard place to go. Very vocal crowd. And they play some great stuff at home. Reading again, although they've started well, they can really shoot themselves in the foot. And this is one game where I think it might be a game too many for them, and I'm going to go for a home win. I'm going to go for a 2-0 home win.
Okay, so I'm very much on the same thinking. I think Reading have really, really done well, deserve their place at the top of the table at the moment. I just can't see it carrying on. I actually did a poll on Twitter. I was like, with Reading going top of the league, do we think that they could actually do the unthinkable, what many people would never thought was going to happen at the start of the season, and get playoffs? And the Twitter poll was actually then hijacked by this big Reading content creator or someone. So he's just retweeted it and literally quote retweeted it and just said, "You know what to do, boys." Got 250 votes and just hijacked. I was like, well, that's pointless then, isn't it? I might as well just gone to the bloody Select Car Leasing Stadium or whatever it's called and just told people. But anyway, I think like you, I think it'll be a bit too much. I think Reading will make a game of it. I don't think it'll be a convincing win for Sheffield United, but I think it'll be a win nonetheless. Bramall Lane is just an absolute fortress at the moment, and they look so impressive. When that crowd is behind them, there's very few teams they can't beat in this league. So I'm going with a 2-1 Sheffield United win.
100%. I can see that being plausible. Right, Wigan at home to West Brom. Now, I had West Brom as well as my playoff winners. I think Steve Bruce has made two of the best signings in the division, bringing in John Swift and Jed Wallace on free transfers. Two players who know this division inside out, very creative, can score goals. Jed Wallace got 2 away at Huddersfield on Saturday. So, everyone thinks Steve Bruce plays boring football, and he can do, but it's effective. So I think West Brom are really going to be a force to be reckoned with. On the other hand, Wigan, they've stuck to their guns. They got them promoted from League One last season. Liam Richardson have been playing some great stuff, and they're going to be licking their wounds from that 5-1 defeat to Burnley at the weekend. I can't see them winning this one, but I can see it being a lot closer. I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win, and I think West Brom will just nick it.
Completely agree. So I've gone 2-1 West Brom win as well. At the end of the day, Wigan, they are leaky at the back. They can make mistakes, but they do often get a goal, at least. They're very good going forward. So I think with the West Brom side, they'll obviously be very disappointed with their performance against Huddersfield in the week, going 2-0 behind. And they're managing to come back to draw the game, to be fair to them. I think they'll be going out there with sort of a point to prove. And I think they'll win it fairly comfortably, but just by the 1 goal, 2-1.
Yeah, 100%. And the final game Tuesday night, probably the marquee fixture, Watford versus Middlesbrough. 2 of the favourites with the bookies to go up at the start of the season. Maybe haven't necessarily shown that their full capabilities. You've got to look at Watford. Losing Dennis was a huge loss, but it looks like they've kept hold of João Pedro for now. Ishmael Sarr, obviously the Villa move didn't go through, so it looks like he's sticking around. And what a front three they have got. They look dangerous around every corner. Everyone thought how they were going to do with Rob Edwards coming in, coming from League 2 football to look after pretty much a Premier League squad, based on what's happened at Watford. I think they will be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. On the flip side of that, you've got Chris Wilder's Middlesbrough. Chris Wilder's a great manager. We all know what he can do. They've done really well in the transfer window as well, recruited really well. Lenihan from Blackburn on a free was an absolute steal. your American keeper that's coming from Man City as well. Obviously, they think very highly of him. Yep. So another great signing they've got. Moon is on loan from Fulham as well, who our football social colleague Skibby was waxing lyrical about last season, and he thinks he can go out and score a hatful of goals in this league. So it's going to be a tight one, and I think it's going to be too tight. I think they're going to cancel each other out, and I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
So yeah, I've gone similar. I've gone 2-2. I think there'll be a few goals. I think it'll be a great game. Of course, Middlesbrough have everyone was pinning them on at least the playoff spot, but they've flattered to deceive a bit. They've dominated a lot of the games they've played this year, but just struggled to get those games over the line. They, of course, did get their first win against Swansea, I think that you mentioned over the weekend. I just think I fancy Middlesbrough, but Watford being at home sort of equalises it for me. I think it's going to be a great game nonetheless. Of course, it's the game being shown on Sky as well. So, and João Pedro and Ismail Assar looking like they're going to be staying now with the Newcastle interest and, as you say, the Aston Villa deal falling through. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw and two very good sides that I think are going to be there or thereabouts despite their relatively poor starts.
100%. As we move into Wednesday night, there's only one place to start. And hey, as it's your side, Con, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Oh, do you know what? Every time I talk about like my team and I say that I think we're going to win, I just feel like I'm jinxing them because it doesn't usually end up well. I said we'd beat Blackpool 3-0, so that didn't happen. But I'm going to do it again. Bristol City versus Huddersfield. I see it being a 2-1 win for the Robins, for my team. Back at home, I think is key. We've played really well at home. I know we lost the game to Sunderland, but we played really well. And if it wasn't for some sort of immature defending, which we've been culpable for like 2 years almost, then we could have seen that one out. Huddersfield, of course, will be disappointed that they couldn't hold on to the 2-goal lead they had against West Brom throughout the week. And I think with the Ashton Gate faithful, the Bristol City crowd behind their team, I think it'll be a 2-1 win. And of course, Semenyo is back in the picture now for Bristol City. Came on to score a goal for us against Wycombe in the Cup, and then came on for us against Blackpool to get another goal. So he's looking back to his best. Conway just keeps scoring. Yeah, I think a 2-1 win for City.
I agree. I do think Bristol are going to win. Having watched you guys in the flesh at home at Burton in the Cup, fair enough, lots of changes from both sides, but you can see the class that you guys had. Conway, what a little gem he is, coming through the academy and finally breaking through and getting his chances and taking them and scoring goals.
Absolutely.
In the first team. He looks like an absolute gem of a player, and I think this could be very, very much a breakout season. You mentioned Semenyo coming back, an absolute beast of a player last season, and he looks hungry. Like you say, the 2 goals in 2 sort of appearances, he's going to be chomping at the bit. And Pearson's got a dilemma what he's going to do with that front line. You've still got the likes of Chris Martin knocking around, who's knocked a couple in, Andy Vyman.
Naki Wells as well coming back on the scene.
Yeah.
He looked a goner, and then obviously did something well in training, and he's back in the lineup and playing well. So
exactly, mate. So you're spoiled for choice in that front department. Naismith coming in, I think, was a great sign at centre half. I know the news has come out today, the sad news that Baker's had to retire because of the concussions. Send our best wishes to him, because what a servant he's been.
Absolutely.
And such a shame that at 31's no age to have to retire from the game. But maybe that's another reason why the Bristol boys want to go out and put on a display. Again, I'm going to go for a home win, but I think they're going to come from behind.
Okay.
I think Huddersfield are going to be 1-0 up at half time, and I think you're going to win 2-1. Come the end of the game.
So we agree 2-1 City win. Okay.
2-1 City win.
I'm thinking we're 2-0 up, 2 early goals, and then we do a Bristol City and sit back and let them back into the game. But that's just sort of PTSD coming into play.
Yeah. Oh, we've all been there, mate. We've all been there. Right, and then finally, we get to play at home.
Let's go.
The 31st of August, we finally get to play a home game.
And it's against the 0-0 Merchants.
Our bogey side, Preston North End. We've never won at Deepdale. Luckily, this is at the CBS. Our first game. We're lacking a bit of momentum. We're lacking a bit of rhythm. We've just sold Dom Hyam, who I thought would have been our captain this season, to Blackburn in a move which has baffled Coventry fans. But we needed to balance the books a little bit. Let's not get into the politics now. But that's a massive loss to Phil. But what it does mean is Michael Rose, Panzo, Callum Doyle have really got the chance to come forward and really stake a claim for that shirt. Matty Godden scoring 2 at the weekend, firing. I think Heyman may be back. I think it was only a 1-match suspension that he got for his red card at Millwall, so he should be back, which will be huge because we really missed him on Saturday against Hull. Still missing Callum O'Hare, who's our linchpin in 10, but we've got Super Casey Palmer wearing 45, who you know all about, Con, who genuinely looked brilliant on Saturday, but you can tell
he got the penalty, didn't he?
Yeah, lovely little touch in the box to draw the foul. He put in some thunderous tackles as well and got himself about the pitch. You can tell that he's been injured though, because an hour on the clock and you can see he looked like he was running in treacle, bless him. So it's good to see that he's getting that. But we're back under the lights. We're back at home. There's going to be a buoyant crowd in the CBS, and I think we're going to be the first side to score against Preston. I know I'm very brave saying this because Preston have been brilliant. Freddie Woodman's a hell of a signing in goal for them. Ryan Lowe's got them playing so compact and so organised. You've said that the 0-0 Merchants, and it's true. They've been so tight at the back. But the speculation today about Emil Rees, is he going? And will that upset them? I hope it does. I know they're our bogey side, and I've probably got sky blue tinted glasses on here, but I'm going to go for a 1-0 home win.
Interesting. So, obviously, if this is another 0-0, by the way, that is unreal. What would that be like?
I'll take the point.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But I think that'd be 6 of their 7 games ended 0-0. It'd be unbelievable. I just think with this being Cov's first home game of the season, a month and a half late, right? So I think it's going to be a hell of an atmosphere. And I think it's going to be an atmosphere that really pumps those sky blue players up enough to break through that Preston wall and really make a difference. So I've also actually gone a Cov 1-0 win. I think you are going to be the first team to... Yeah, I trust me, that brown envelope went a long way, mate. But no,
I didn't realise you were so cheap.
What was that?
I didn't realise you were so cheap, mate.
Yeah. Doesn't take much. But no, I really think it is just... It's going to be absolutely bouncing there on Wednesday. It's going to be incredible. I think they're going to do it.
I hope so, mate. And the vlog will be out, later on in the week, so you'll be able to witness that atmosphere yourself. And genuinely,
link in the description.
I just hope Simon Moore doesn't produce another gaff. 3 games in, he's cost us 3 goals minimum. I think he may be dropped. I don't know. His confidence has got to be shot to bits. I just hope that somewhere along the line, we need a clean sheet. We had a very mixed season last year in terms of our defence. 1 clean sheet will go such a long way to ease a lot of the fans' fears as well. So, come on, City. Right, anyway, enough about us. Moving on to Alex Neil's Stoke City as they host Swansea at the Bet365. Firstly, what a strange move.
I mean, I've been over this many times over the past few days. I took a whole weekend sort of looking into it, and I mean, I've got my own opinions on why someone would, after signing 2 contracts with pay rises, reject the 3rd and then take another contract with another club that's lower down. I've got my own opinions on that. If you want to hear that, then I did do a video on it and the link down in the description. But it's a very strange one, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Because let's be honest, he's got Sunderland up after 5 years in League One, I think it was, where they've been, missed out in the playoffs, and he finally broke that voodoo, broke that curse, got them back into the Championship, hey, and they've started on fire. Like you say, we went there, got a late draw. They come down to Ashton Gate and got a result. They've fair enough, they lost at the weekend, but surely the turmoil of Alex Neil leaving probably played into that.
Absolutely.
They've been fantastic this season. And
some of their signings as well have been top. Ellis Sims look a hell of a player.
Unbelievable player.
Yeah.
Unbelievable player. Dan Ballard at centre half as well.
Yeah.
Was at Millwall last year. He's fitted into that side seamlessly. So it's weird that he's left in the.
And the fans loved him as well. Loved
him. So it's a weird one, but he's at Stoke now.
Yeah.
And what a squad he's got at Stoke as well. The signing of Dwight Gale, fair enough, he hasn't hit the heights yet, but he scores goals at this level, we all know that. Josh Lowen on a free transfer from Reading as well, I think was a great signing. Aidan Flint from Cardiff, another fantastic signing at centre half. Some good quality championship players. And Swansea just seems to be one of those sides, again, Jekyll and Hyde. I personally thought they were one of the best footballing sides in the division last year. And Russell Martin sets his side up to play some high press, good football. The likes of Matty Grimes in the middle of the park really gets them going. But Pirro hasn't really hit those dizzy heights yet this season. I think they're still missing Jamie Patterson as well.
Yep.
Who kind of is such a creative player.
I still can't believe that we let him go, to be honest. Really disappointed when that happened.
And the thing is, he grew up about a mile away from where I'm sat now as a Cov kid, and 3 times we've been in front of him, 3 times he's never come, so that's never going to happen, is it? But I think Swansea are missing too many players, and I think there'll be a great atmosphere in the Bet365 for Alex Neil's first game, coming off the back of a great 1-0 win away at Blackburn as well.
Yep.
So I think they are going to win this. I think it's going to be a 1-0 Stoke win.
Well, you've covered all the points there. I think that there's going to be a massive sort of new manager bounce after an already great result against Blackburn over the weekend. Swansea confused me. Like, I said that they weren't even an outside shot. I said that they'd be a playoff team, or there or thereabouts, and they just seem to lack any cutting edge. Any sort of not even steal, but it's all well and good having this possession football, but if you're going to do nothing with the ball, what's the point in having it? And that's what's been happening with Swansea. So I've gone 1-0 Stoke win as well. I think the new manager bounce. I think Alex Neil is smart enough to just be like, let them have the ball, let them have the ball. 30, 40 yards away from goal. Let them keep it as much as they want, and then just do what Blackburn did at Swansea a few weeks ago, and just hit them on the break. Take your chances when you get them, and then just sit down and watch the show basically as they pass it between their centre halves for the rest of the game. I've gone Stoke City 1-0, and honestly, Russell Martin has to be under pressure with that squad, because it's not as if you look at the other your Coventry boys in the relegation zone, or I can't remember who the other team in the relegation zone, but I know they both. You obviously have a lot of games in hand. Huddersfield has a game in hand. Swansea have played all their games. They're sat there because they should be sat there. So on merit, exactly. So he's got to be under some pressure right now, and he this is almost a must win for him in my opinion, because if they go bottom of the table with that squad, it's a worrying sign. But yeah, I've gone for that Stoke City 1-0 win.
100%. So we touched on Sunderland a second ago, so we may as well talk about that game now against Rotherham. Two newly promoted sides facing off at the Stadium of Light. Rotherham have started unbelievably well, beating Birmingham 2-0 at the weekend. 2 Richard Wood goals, even having a penalty saved. Shocked everyone, I think it's fair to say, Rotherham. I think this is a step too far. The Stadium of Light is a different kettle of fish completely. Yep. 38,000 screaming Mackhams, who, let's be honest, are going to be baying for a bit of blood after Alex Neil's departure, hoping to bounce back from that Norwich game. We've touched on Sims, Ross Stewart, Alex Pritchard. I just think they're a bit too strong, and I think Sunderland, if they get in the groove, could really tear Rotherham apart. And I'm going to go for a wide 3-0 home win.
So I agree with a lot of what you say. Obviously, I think it's going to be Martin Canning who's taking the reins at the Black Cats for the game. Who I must admit I know very little about, if I'm honest.
Rumours that Mowbray is about to be appointed, though.
Yes, that is the rumour. Sunderland fans, if you're watching this, let us know what you think of that appointment down below. I've gone for a Sunderland victory as well, but I've gone much closer. Rotherham have been very strong defensively, as to be said. I think the Ross Stewart and Ellis Sims combo is going to be too much. And I think Sunderland are going to be putting them under pressure the whole game. Like you say, they've got a point to prove now. With Alex Neil choosing to go to Stoke 17th in the table rather than stay with them. They're going to be out for blood, like you say. With Ross Stewart and Ellis Sims up top, I think they're going to be all over Rotherham. But I do fancy Rotherham to get sort of one against the run of play on the break. So I've gone for a 2-1 Sunderland win. A lot closer. But
hey, it could easily happen. We know this, having seen the Championship so far.
Rotherham might just not turn up. And then it's like a 4-0. Yeah, exactly.
And then we come to the final game of the midweek fixtures, the big Lancashire derby at the Seaside. Blackpool versus Blackburn Rovers. Mike Clapperton's Blackpool, great result against your guys on Saturday. I thought they were dead and buried at one point, but to rescue a 3-3 draw. They always seem to be a side that can really rattle sides that want to play football. John Dale Thompson's got Blackburn playing some great stuff. Obviously, they've got the new signing Dom Hyam playing centre half, who I know a lot about. All the best, Dom. Gutted he's gone, but I think he'd be a great signing for them. We touched on Lenihan leaving earlier on. He could be a perfect replacement for him. A lot relies on what happens with that big Chilean Ben Brereton Diaz for me. And with this being the day before the transfer window, I don't think he'll be involved. I don't think that we'll be talking about Ben Brereton Diaz, the Blackburn player, this time next week. I think he will have moved on. I think I've said that the last two transfer windows as well. Shows what I know. So I think that could really disrupt it. The fact it's a local derby, it's going to be fiery. It's going to throw players off the place. And I'm going to go for a shock 2-1 Blackpool win.
Ooh. So I've spoken about Blackburn at some length, to be honest, because I think they flattered to deceive this year so far. I know they started off well, but even if you look at those games, other than the Reading result, no, not the Reading result, the West Brom game, I think, there was one game where they were truly on top. The rest of the time, they were just very clinical with their chances, and you cannot rely on that. You're going to miss chances. If you're only getting 3 shots on target a game, you cannot guarantee that you're going to score 3 goals every game. So, and that's sort of what's happened now, is that ever since that shock Reading defeat, the 3-0 battering against Sheffield United, they've really struggled. Obviously lost against Stoke last week as well. I do fancy them, but like you say, because it's that Lancashire derby, I do fancy them to put up a fight, really show up. And I think it's going to be one of those where late on they're 2-1 up. But Blackpool, they've done it again and again so far this season. They've got fight, they've got heart. My Clapperton side, they will fight for every last point.
Yeah.
And I can see it being a 2-2 draw with Blackpool just getting that last minute equaliser, if I'm honest. And like you said, for me, I've spoken about this on my channel. I think Brent, they should have sold Brereton Diaz as soon as possible. Even if it meant dropping a few million. They've got so many plugs to fill in that, or holes to fill in that squad, that they could have done with the cash and just try and bring in as many players as they can, fill out that squad. Now they're going into the final day, and Brereton Diaz might move on. They've then got no time to spend that money and bring players in. So
100%. I've seen their Twitter yesterday when they announced obviously the signing of Hyam, and they said, well, we need another centre half, left back, centre midfielder, striker. They still feel like they're falling short. One positive though for Blackburn, Bradley Dack starting his first game in over a year over the weekend. Scoops, our colleague here at the Football Social, big Gillingham fan, loves Bradley Dack. And it's great to see Bradley Dack starting games of football again.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was a bit part player towards the back end of last season, scored at the CBS against my side, and you could see he's really got the groove back again, and it's really good to see him starting. So that would be like a new signing for Blackburn. But you're right, going into this last week of the transfer window, still with uncertainty over their talisman, Ben Brereton-Diaz. You're right, they should have sold him in July, took the first bid to come in, and then used that money to rebuild the side. And it could be a gamble that really backfires and bites them.
Absolutely. It's such a young squad as well. I think they've got the youngest squad in the league. And you can see that inexperience sometimes. It's very rare where a team is so inexperienced that you can physically see it on the pitch. But Blackburn is one of those where they just make those sort of sloppy mistakes. And yeah, like I say, that you cannot rely on putting away every one of your chances. If you're only creating 2 or 3 a game, then it's not going to go well, and that's what we've seen recently. So yeah, it's going to be a great week. Out of all these games that we've got listed here, what would you say is the must watch, the one that cannot be missed?
So I think the Wednesday night, the game we just spoke about, I think the Lancashire Derby is going to be a fantastic watch, and I think that may be the one that Sky have chosen. Obviously, I'm going to be at the Coventry game. So that's my must-watch for Wednesday night, because pointless being there if not else. And then I think Tuesday night, QPR Hull. I think that's going to be a brilliant game, end to end. And you know, I think there'll be goals in that one. So yeah, I think my must-watch game on Tuesday is QPR Hull.
Yeah, well, for me, it might be a bit of an obvious. I completely agree with Blackpool, Blackburn. I think it's the most interesting game. A team that's really struggling at the minute, and in Blackburn to get results and turn the tide against a team that seems to just be picking up results even when they don't necessarily deserve to. Maybe I'm thinking against Burnley, but you've also then got on Tuesday. It's a bit of an obvious answer. Watford, Middlesbrough, 2 really top teams meeting up, and it's going to be interesting to see whether Middlesbrough are truly back. You know, I know they got the win at the weekend, but they struggled before that, and they're against a very good team in Watford. So it'll be interesting to see if they can truly compete, which I think they will be able to.
100%. You know, some great games. And we touched on at the start, this is why we love this division.
Yeah. It's so unpredictable. Who would have put Reading and Hull in the top 3 come the start of the season? Like, it's unbelievable. It really is.
And again, you know, fair of the pitch debacle, but who would have had Coventry, Huddersfield and Swansea in the bottom 3?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would have. So, yeah, it's been a crazy topsy-turvy start, and that's why we love it. And it's only going to get better because, as we all know, with the World Cup, these games come in thick and fast.
Absolutely. Anyway, guys, feel free to leave your predictions down in the comments below. Let us know how you think the weekend or the week of football is going to go. Thank you very much for watching. The links to everything, the Football Social Twitch, our YouTubes, everything is down in the description below. If you're interested to go and drop those a sub, then that would be great. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.